Hello everybody, so it's the 9th of January and it's 7 o'clock here in Hobart and it's 9 o'clock in Les Sables d'Olonne. So what have we got happening today? First of all, Guy's coming out of the zone and Simon at the other end, about 6,000 miles away, is roaring along towards Cape Horn. Ablish and Kirsten have stalled. Jeremy's going quiet on the way to Hobart. Ian Herbert-Jones is happy and so is Elliot. That's a quick run through, so let's now look at what's happening down the back end with Elliot and Guy. We did send in the messages. He has come out of the zone, so he's just about to cross over, and he's got not much wind. He's been doing 6 knots for the last 4 hours, and it'll change in a minute. We're about a minute or so away from the new positions. But anyway, he's made 83 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, but it's going to be slow because he's got that no wind area right there. And Elliot, he's still not rolled over the new position yet, but he's done 96 nautical miles and making about 5 knots, so he's okay in that breeze. Heading up to Perth, Fremantle or Albany. I think it'll be Fremantle, and that'll probably take him another 8-9 days. He's about 700 miles from Fremantle. So moving the weather forward today, we'll just have a quick look at that. So this is tomorrow, 24 hours later. Guy's happy, he's got back into the breeze, and so is Elliot. He's looking really good. He'll be doing 5s on that, I reckon. And then this is on the 11th, 2 days ahead. Elliot's getting a little bit quieter, but Guy's looking okay. So a couple of days there and they're doing fine. Come back to today's weather, and we've got Jeremy sitting in this hole. He's just come up to the new position, so this is 8 o'clock, making 3.2 knots, so not going very fast. And Ian is doing 5.8 knots with a 91 nautical mile day. Jeremy had 102 miles in a day, so that's not too bad. Let's just look at we'll look at Goog as well, seeing we're here. Captain Goog, you can see he hasn't got much wind, 3.7 knots, but he's still on the rum line, so that's interesting. I'll build it up one more size, get out of there, and we'll work the weather on that and see where we get to. So that's today. If we come forward till tomorrow, this is the 10th. Goog's happy. He's got good breeze. Ian's happy. Jeremy's the only one that's going to be going slow. He'll be doing about 3 knots for the next 24 hours, so that'll slow him down a bit. On the 11th, here we go, 2 days ahead. Goog's stuck in a hole now. Jeremy's got no wind in front of him, and even Ian's slowing down, so not a lot happening there. 3 days in, the 12th. And more wind, lack of wind I mean, so Ian's not happy. Goog's moving slightly, but the fact that Jeremy has still got 300 nautical miles to go, that's 3 days, which is the 12th. I think it's more likely than not that he'll come in no earlier than the 13th, so that's the best thing there. No storms, all pretty light stuff, or reasonable sailing. So now we'll come to the 2 backbenchers of the lead group, Kirsten and Ablish. Come back to today's weather, and you can see very clearly they've got that problem we spoke about last night. 1.6 knots for Ablish, struggling to keep sailing. Kirsten 1.7 knots. So again, they got a real challenge now, because Simon still just boring away at 6 knots. He had a big day, doing good speeds, 100 miles in a day. In fact, probably even more than that in real terms. So going forward, I can push this through reasonably quickly. So this is 24 hours later, and the good news is that Kirsten and Ablish are sailing again, and they'll be right on the rum line going for it, and Simon will slow down a little bit. That's a little bit better than what the forecast was showing yesterday. So then on to the 11th, day 2, bingo, it changes again, and that's because of the influence of this big system, the big low pressure system up the top, and Simon starts sailing again. So then I'll toggle this through by the hour, because this is the big one. If it squashes down to the zone like that, they're going to have headwinds anyway when they get over there, but it's not going to happen. They've got a bit of breeze, they'll start coming across again, so it's not too bad, but Simon's going to keep moving. There's some bigger winds coming there, but it's still not extreme. That'll be 35, gusting 45, maybe a bit more than that as it goes across, so we'll keep an eye on that, and if we have to, we'll give them an alert. That's really about it. A very quick one for this one today, and there's not a lot of changes, but we'll see you